Hi, it's Scully from Life Sherpa here with another quirky things that happen in financial markets, or as I like to call it, things that make you go, when it comes to money. So this year has been an interesting one with the Trump tariff tantrums causing all sorts of ructions on financial markets. It was another demonstration that having some gold in your portfolio helps to smooth out these lumps and bumps in the market. In fact, the Life Sherpa allocation to gold helped all of our portfolios to be positive in the first quarter, even in the face of global downturns. But interestingly, the gold market had some very interesting gyrations as a result of this tariff. There was thinking among investors that that tariff would apply to imports of gold, which meant that they wanted to get in ahead of the imposition of the tariff on the 1st of April, and so wanted to buy some gold. This led to an increase in the price of gold. In fact, it traded at all-time highs so far this year. But this is where things get interesting. Gold is traded largely in two places in the world. It's traded on the COMEX exchange in New York, and it's traded on the London Bullion Exchange in London. And so, given that gold is the same, you would expect those to trade broadly in line with each other, allowing for the currency differences. So the New York is priced in US dollars, London's priced in pounds sterling. But they should track each other closely. Because of this excess demand, though, from US investors wanting to get in ahead of the tariff, that pushed the demand and hence the price up in New York. And the two prices got out of kilter. In fact, they got about $62 an ounce out of kilter. And so that led to a trade where people would buy gold in London and sell it in New York. And to settle a trade, you need physical gold. Ordinarily, not a problem because the gold sits at the Bank of England vault in London, and it sits at the Federal Reserve in the US. So if you trade gold in London, it gets settled by changing the name in the register of who holds that numbered gold bar. And similarly in New York, you just change the name on a bar in the Federal Reserve. But if you want to buy in London and sell in New York, you've got to get the gold from one vault to another. And there's a cost involved in doing that. But interestingly, the New York Reserve uses a different size bar. It uses a 100-ounce bar, whereas in London they use a 400-ounce bar. So in order to settle a 100-ounce bar in New York, you have to take your 400-ounce bar out of London and turn it into 400-ounce bars. And the way to do that is it needs to get melted down in Switzerland and recast. So if a trader in London wants to buy gold in London and sell it in New York, they need to take physical delivery of the 400-ounce bar from the Bank of England vault, ship it to Switzerland and get it melted down into 100-ounce bars, and then ship it to New York to get deposited at the Federal Reserve vault. And so there's a cost to that, and that effectively puts a floor between what this difference might be. And we saw about $82 billion worth of gold fly across the Atlantic in the first quarter of the year. And just putting that $82 billion in perspective, the total value of all investment gold in the world is $5 trillion. So that's a big movement by any measure. We don't often see that. So that's a quirk in the market, or something that makes me go,